Welcome to our talk show. Before we begin, we would like to make a disclaimer that everything mentioned in this show comes from personal experiences and opinions. We may refer to biblical references and teachings from the man of God, Prophet Philip Banda, but these are also subject to personal interpretation. Our goal is to share our perspectives and experiences, and we encourage our viewers to seek guidance and counsel from trusted sources before making any significant decisions in their lives. Furthermore, the views expressed in this show may not represent the views of Impact for Christ Ministries. We acknowledge that everyone has their own unique journey and circumstances, and what may have worked for us may not necessarily apply to others. Hi everyone, and welcome back to today's live youth talk show. My name is Ruben, and today I'm with
Mukana.
Hi Mukana, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Ruben?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not okay.
Maybe that's a discussion we should have.
Yeah. Why am I not okay?
I don't know.
We are going into exam season. So
That's
yeah, we need to get our grades up, and we need to study.
We need to study.
Yeah. And
How do we study?
that's a good question.
That is a great question.
That's why we'll be talking about it today.
Oh yes.
Yes. So that's today's conversation. How do I study? How do I prepare for exams?
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of us, me included, everybody's always like, you need to study. You need to work hard. You need to do the doing things. No one's ever telling you how.
Exactly.
So that's what we're going to be doing today, telling you how. So here we've got some wonderful panelists. How are you guys doing today? And please introduce yourselves.
Hey everyone, my name's Lote.
And I'm a CPA.
Hi, I'm Godiseni.
Good, you sing. How are you guys doing?
We are good.
All right, guys. So would you say you know how to study? Like, do you think you have studying down to a T?
It's not make sure, which is ironic because like outside of my work, I'm actually a tutor and I teach study skills. So when I was in school, yes, for like particular things, I was like, I think I liked theory things compared to like practical things like physical sciences and maths, even though maths is just practice. So for me, it's like 65%.
To be honest, for me, I don't know how to study.
That's real.
I find different ways of studying,
That's
but I
real.
don't have a specific study method as to how I pass and everything. I think I really just pass by the grace of God, honestly.
For me, how I will put it is I've just been winging it. And it has worked sometimes and sometimes it has not worked. Like Luther said, when you need to study, then it has sort of a bit 65% yana, then I can say, okay, that's what I've gotten on that.
Yeah, no, I hear the whole winging it chat. And the problem with that is that it's not make sure.
Yeah.
Like, you can never really rely on, like, winging it all the time because
it can
then...
only take you so far.
Exactly. And the problem is when you want, for example, to do really well in a test, but you don't really know how to study, it's like, ooh. So here we're going to be discussing a few studying techniques. But the first thing we want to discuss, because I feel like this comes up a lot, is people say, oh no, teachers have said to me especially, studying starts in the class.
I agree.
So to what extent do you guys think paying attention in class actually, like, is studying? Like, to what extent does that determine your performance?
For me personally, like when you're in varsity, because high school, like fire by force, you have to be in class.
That's
but when
true.
you have that independence in varsity, choosing whether to go to class or not, it makes life so much easier when you were in like lectures. So even if you're not fully like there, but you're there. You'd be surprised when you go back into the like your textbooks and your notes that you're like, oh my word, I actually remember my lecturer saying this. But there are moments when you're like, when did we learn this? I don't recall learning this. So I'm 100% that studying does start in class, because even sometimes if you are paying attention, you can ask questions. Like, what does that mean? What was I think for me personally, it starts in class.
Speaking from a point of someone who didn't pay much attention in class, I wouldn't say I didn't pay attention.
Tell us,
Ruben. I didn't pay much attention. Why are you so interested?
I just want to know.
But speaking from a view of someone who didn't pay much attention in class, it's like when now I'm studying alone, it's not make sure.
Yeah.
Whereas if I was actually listening in class, that's another form of studying, because I'm learning and I'm taking in what the teacher is saying. And then when I get home, it's more revision than studying.
Yes. You cooked. You cooked.
As usual.
What about you? What do you that said?
I would like to modify it a bit.
Sure.
And I will say studying starts before class.
Oh.
That's how I will put it.
Okay.
What do you mean by that?
He said, let's change the rules.
So, being someone who's gone through varsity and has applied poor methods and all that, missing lectures, which is one of them, as time went on, I sort of learned that you have to sort of prepare before a lecture.
Sure. Then
you will be able to understand, because now sometimes you go to a lecture and then you find that the lecture is not that good at conveying what he's trying to push through. So that's when I'll say studying starts before a lecture, studying starts before a class. If you're in high school, then prepare for classes beforehand. So that's why we put that.
Heard. Asipe, what do you think?
I'd go with Guri's statement, because I go to a different school. I don't do traditional based learning. I work with technology only. So for me, the way I learn, I study through strangers and through online. And I'm not familiar with it. Like, I just recently started, right? So me learning through online, it's difficult for me to pay attention in class, because if I'm not in physical contact with the facilitator, I don't understand my work at times. And I need that person to explain and re-explain for me to understand.
Right.
So with Ngodi's statement, studying before class, it actually helps for me. Whereas I can go to an invigilator outside of my online teachers and go and work in hand with them and come back and listen to the lecture online. Yeah.
No, I think it does make sense. It does follow. Like, I know for me, I'm a firm believer in, like, in class is where, like, either it's make or break for a topic. Like, if I'm in class and I'm not listening and I don't understand in class, when I get home, I'm going to shiver in my boots, because I'm not going to be able to, like, recall the person saying it. And I guess there's some level of, like, familiarity that comes into play when it comes to studying. Like, if you're seeing something you've never seen before, it's a lot harder to grapple with the content than if you've seen it before, like Ngodi was saying, before, like, studying, and, like, maybe just even opening your textbook and reading, like, what's going on, kind of preempting the questions you'll ask in class. So I think studying does heavily depend on, like, paying attention in class. And then what about when you like, when you're actually studying? So, like, you've done class, you've had this taught to you, your studying environment when you're actually studying for exams. What about that? How do you guys think that affects your performance? Like, how important is your environment when studying to how well you learn?
I think it's highly important because I don't know, I'm one of those people, I want to study in a quiet place, but because it's of how I grew up.
Sure.
It was just me and my mom. I didn't have other siblings running around in the house. They weren't like dogs. So I think it depends and stuff like that. So I grew up in a pretty, like, quiet household, whereas I do think what happens, like, guys, imagine you're trying to study and someone is unsing in the house. Someone is playing cartoons, the other one is trying to shush a crying baby. Like, I understand there are situations like that, and one adjusts to that, and you learn to, like, tune things out. But for me personally, I prefer studying in silence. Well, it depends on theory. I know some people say you can't study with music, but when I was doing maths, I studied with music. So
we need to talk about that. We need to get on that conversation.
When you spoke about that, when you spoke about the environment, I was thinking of the studying in a noisy environment and then replacing that noisy environment with like headphones with
And music.
that's headphones that's blasting music.
Sure.
So now, are you actually studying? Because when I studied with music,
You're gonna be singing along.
I would be rapping
Yeah.
along, singing along,
Yeah.
especially if you know the
Yeah.
song and you love the song.
Yeah.
Like you stop studying. So I feel like that also takes away your attention in some way. So I don't know. For me, I would say studying with music.
That's why I said it depends.
Yeah,
When
it
I was studying
depends.
theory, I was silent. But if I was doing something practical like maths, or because I was reaching psychology, like when I'm doing equations, that's
Doing
when
schoolwork.
it gives you that motivation when you're there trying to grasp your quadratic formula and your hyperbolas. So for me personally, when I was doing maths and science, especially when I was doing like maths equations and stuff like that, it helped me a lot in that sense when I was working with music.
Yeah.
But when I was doing like heavy based, especially once I was in varsity such as psychology and English and communications, that's when my varsity life I wasn't studying with music because everything was theory. Because imagine now I'm studying here Newton's law and there's Beyonce going, all my single ladies, all my single ladies.
Newton would have sang along. He would have sang along.
So yeah, I think it's different for each person.
For me, I'll say, yeah, music works for certain subjects and it doesn't work for certain subjects. Those which are more content heavy, like in high school, you are looking at the life sciences and all that. You want to make sure that you are in a quiet, focused environment, and also especially for people with short concentration span, because now
Like
the
me.
moment you start bombarding the music, then you are off. But for subjects like math, when you are still establishing maybe the basics in terms of the content, then you might need a more quiet area. But when it comes to a point of practicing, I feel like music sort of helps in terms of also relieving the stress, the anxiety, and all that of when you're studying.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my view.
Asipa, do you listen to music when you're studying?
I don't, because
don't?
I have a short attention span and I can't concentrate.
That's real.
Yeah.
I know I was speaking to somebody about this a while back actually, and they were like, I can't study without music, but when I'm listening to music while studying, it's not make sure. So where did that come from? Why do we all say that? Anyways, not the point. It's not make sure. It's just not. So yeah, Twitter, hey, but not the point. So when it comes to like studying with music, I think a nice hack that I accidentally discovered is that sometimes you can like start with music to get yourself into like the vibe, you know, like to get yourself into the beat of things, and then like stop the music at some point. But it can't be too intentional, because then your brain's like, oh, the music is stopping, let me unfocus. But it has to be like intentional enough that the music is actually stopping at a point where you need to focus, because I feel like focus goes in levels. Like it doesn't just like you're focused or you're unfocused. It's like you're in like a deep state of focus at some point, or you're in like shallow focus. So I think like you need to cater to that, and you need to like see how long does it take you to get into that deep focus state where you're like nothing can phase you, like you're just like in your books, or you know, like what gets you into that. So if it's music that gets you into that, you could start that way, but I guess it also depends on what music you're listening to.
Yes, I was about to ask you like what type of music, because when you say listening to music to get into the vibe, when I'm listening to music, I'm getting into the vibe of dancing, not studying.
Sure, I hear you. People say classical music is best.
What about
I can't get down with Mozart. I can't listen to Mozart and be like, let me cook.
no,
I can't.
like I think that's good music to listen to while studying, because you know, so now you're relaxing, your mind is taking everything in. And I was about to say, I think listening to like ambience music, like you know,
okay, yeah, that's
waterfalls,
true.
like you know, just the small instruments. I think that's
The
also
ambiance.
like a yeah. Thank you. I need to
I
stop.
beg to differ.
Oh.
Every time I play ambient music, sleep is coming.
Same.
So
Yeah.
So I cannot. Yeah, for me, I like to play myself some Don Perignon there. I'm a piano nyana.
How do you study with amapiano?
So you guys are not.
I can.
No.
How?
Works.
Are you not
somehow.
there?
I don't. Yeah, that's when it keeps me going for more hours. But now if I play a slow music, a slow song, then I start falling asleep. So
I think I agree with Ngodi. Like I'm also, when I was studying, it was the thing already. Like when I was varsity, I wasn't studying with music, like I said. But when I was in high school, I was using music to help me learn with maths and sciences. So there are certain things when you are like, so your hip hops and stuff like that. Like it did help. Now I'm there. So it did help bring that.
Writing numbers on the beat.
Yeah, so it did help in that sense. Whereas even like some classical music, I also heard that, I know even in school they kind of forced us, no guys, classical music. And I was like, ma'am, you really want me out there? But like, that's like, and like I must be, So I think the type of music, yes, it does matter. So I think it's a personal choice because everyone has different tastes.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with studying, is it's so personal.
Yes, exactly.
Like you can't say, oh, this works for me, it's definitely going to work for you. It's so dependent on the person. Like the kind of person that you are, how you learn, and like there's different types of learning, obviously. Like if you're a visual learner, you might fare well with like writing things out and drawing things in diagrams. Somebody who's a more like practical, repetitive learner fares well with repeating content over and over. So it'll never be the same. Like you can never say, oh, this will definitely work for you, this will definitely work for me. So I think with that being said, I want to hear from you guys, what works for you when it comes to studying, and what kind of techniques do you put in, what kind of things do you try out. So tell us like what you think in the comments, and if you have any questions, like what studying techniques you want to try out, please let us know, because that's what we're going to be doing in the next section.
So catch us right after the break. Thank you. Alright, welcome back everyone. So we asked you to leave your study methods in the comments before the break.
Yeah.
And I see a few here, and I also see a few like general comments. So I'm just going to go through a few comments. We have a comment from Meetney Mitch who says, I make songs or rhymes from my study notes, which is...
You've cooked.
Yes,
that's such a good method.
Yeah. Because now when let's say you're in the exam room and then you're singing that song, photosynthesis is yeah.
I cannot comment. Shout out to you, because could never be me. What? You know how much that takes? What? I was sitting here making a song out of like like, shout out to you. Like, you are a dedicated, focused person. Because, wow. No, yeah, shout out to you.
No, I hear you. I feel like, because to make a song on like a 40, like a 70-page set of notes that you have to study for a test tomorrow is a bit,
I understand the acronyms. Those come in handy for certain things, especially like life science and stuff. I think, yes. But a song, wow. 10 out of 10.
And then we have a comment from The True Voice who says, hey guys, nice topic. I am writing tomorrow and I am...
Why aren't you studying? Why aren't you studying?
It's like, hey guys, I'm writing tomorrow and I'm not more than 30% revised. Can I still make it? And then he or she goes further and says, how can I catch up in less than 7 hours? And then goes further to say,
wait. You're gonna have to cram. At this point, cram. Cram. You'll come back to it at the end of the term or semester, but cram to pass the test tomorrow. Cram, just highlights.
Maybe maybe another thing that you can do now, which it's not make sure, is look at the question paper, see the typical questions that they ask,
Yes.
then go back to the
Yes.
notes and then sort of have some focused studying on those
Yes.
topics. That might help you.
And
How is it that you're
and you're
7
commenting on a
hours.
YouTube video. Please
Listen to this comment. No, listen to this comment from the same person.
Same person.
Ironically, I am watching you instead of studying.
Wow. You know what? I mean, I appreciate
We appreciate
the
the
turnouts, the
dedication.
drive, the dedication. But realistically, you need to be touching book right now. You need to be on book, chowing book right now.
Actually, you know what? Close your phone.
Oh
Close
wait,
your
but
phone.
one last tip before you go. If you are at this point, 7 hours left, or it's in the morning, your exams in a few hours. Focus on what you're weak on, like the things in that like topic that you don't know. Like if they gave you an exam, it's game, because your weak points are where they're gonna fetch you in the exam.
Yeah.
So what you're strong in, kind of like glance over it, but focus on like the weak links. And if you're weak in everything, good luck, Charlie. Yeah.
With that being said, thank you so much. True voice, specifically the true
Just
voice.
specifically you.
Thank you for
Good
watching.
study.
You can close your phone and go and open your books.
Please.
Yes. We don't want you to fail.
We don't want you to fail.
And then we have another comment from Yansle who says, I just watch videos on the topic like 30 minutes before I write.
Guys, that's so... And you know what that is? That's passive studying.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about this a little bit later. But passive studying, okay, this is my opinion. This is me. It does not work for me. Because as much as you can hear, it's like getting taught by a teacher. You can hear what they're saying, but if you're not engaging with the content, it's not going to help you. Exactly. So the best way is to, like, if you're going to passively study, if you're going to say what the video is saying, then watch a video 30 minutes before your test and then teach somebody else, which is the Feynman
To see if you understand.
to see if you understand. So like teach somebody else so you can be like, oh, I know this, or that didn't hit the way it was supposed to. So like you need to, because to just watch videos, it's just gonna like hit your brain and then stay in your memory a little bit, and then it's gonna leave immediately after.
I get you, but you also raised a point earlier that we learn differently.
This is true.
You said you can't watch videos.
I can't.
I can. Like I used to be like that.
Oh, fair.
Also
fair.
because I never really paid attention in class,
That's,
so I had to.
that might be a.
But I was more of
a.
I was more of a visual learner.
Visual.
Yes, visual. Like I learn more by seeing practical stuff.
Oh
like,
yeah.
And I'm like a child. I want to see colors. I want to see stuff that pique my interest, because when a teacher is just standing there, she's probably not attractive, or he's probably not attractive, just standing there and talking. I'm less likely to like pay attention or hear.
So Ruben, if you had an attractive teacher, you're telling me you'd be paying attention.
Listen, from grade 1 until I matriculated, all the teachers who taught me, like if the teacher is attractive and she taught me a certain subject, I'm not getting less than 70 for that subject.
Ladies and gentlemen, the leaders of our future. These are the leaders of your future who are only learning well when it's an attractive teacher.
I didn't say only.
I cannot believe our youth.
Can I please add on? I actually agree with Ruben. Because it's the same with me. Judge me, it's fine. It's the same with me, because I realized last semester, my maths teacher, this other lady, fat lady, ugly looking type of woman, was teaching me maths.
That's God's creation.
I used to come with 50s and 40s from maths. So my teacher now, she's like a pretty Afrikaner lady, slim, hair slick, beautiful eyes. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm passing.
You know, you don't want to look dumb in front of someone who is attractive.
I feel like the more attractive the teacher is, the better the results. I've noticed with my
government, if you're watching
That
this,
is so not
please,
make sure.
government, if you're watching this, please hire more attractive teachers.
This is crazy.
It's helping
You guys
the
are
youth.
thinking that this is a problem, right? Like you're hearing that this is an issue.
This actually has to be a case study.
There has to be a case study in this. This has to be studied. The phenomenon of why do attractive people make more sense. Anyways.
Like me, I make a lot of sense when I'm here, right?
Side eye.
No.
Okay, and then I guess with that we should probably go into the different studying techniques, and then just kind of see which ones do we think are the most effective, because it's clear that one of the studying techniques, I guess, is learning from an attractive person. I don't know why that is, how it works, but I guess that's your studying technique. So what about Ngodi? Let's start with No, what we're going to do is start by having all the different techniques. We're going to say out a specific technique, and then we're going to rate them. You guys can rate them as well in the comments. You can say, oh, this technique, a 0 or a 10, whatever you feel. And then we're going to just explain why we think we gave them that rating. So, okay, the first technique that we have is the Feynman technique. So explain this a little bit, and for those who don't know, the Feynman technique is essentially learning content. So you study it, you learn it, you like read over it, whatever works for you, and then you teach it to somebody else. So that process of teaching is supposed to basically test you to see where your gaps are. And often the person who you're teaching can ask you questions so that you can kind of engage with them and see if you can't answer a question, well, that's where you're gonna fail. And if you can, that's where you're succeeding. So what do you guys rate that specific technique?
Feynman technique,
Yes.
right down for me. I'll give it a 9.
No, why would you say it out loud? The point of the whiteboard is to write it
Oh,
down,
oh,
Ruben.
my bad.
Oh, my handwriting is so bad.
Oh, not this being finished.
How do you write?
How do you write 9, Ruben? At your age. Okay. So these are our ratings. We gave it, I don't know if you can see that. We gave it a 9 and a 7. I gave it a 7 and Ruben gave it a 9. What about you guys? What are you guys' ratings?
I gave it an 8.5.
8.5. That's high. Okay, Luto?
I gave it 10 out of 10.
10.
Yeah. For you to know if you actually know something is through teaching it.
Yes.
And
This is
also
true.
the Feynman method also allows you to use analogies, which is a great way to understand and make sure you've actually conceptualized your work. And if when someone is asking you this particular question, you're able to be like, oh, actually, so now you're actually going
Yeah,
back
back
to
to
be like,
recall.
actually, yes, that area is not make sure, so I'm going to come back for. So for me, personally, 10 out of 10.
Sure.
I gave it a 9 because it was scientifically proven. They gave a group of people, they divided them equally, and then they gave them a topic, like a specific topic.
Sure.
Let's say you're learning like quadratic formulas or something.
Okay.
So the one group, they were told they were going to be tested on this, and then the other group were told they were going to teach
It's
on-
someone else.
Yeah, they were going to teach it to someone else. And the ones who actually were told that they were going to teach it did well. They did better on the test, and the ones who were told they were going to be tested on this, they did less better than the ones
I
who
guess
were
it's true.
told.
I think it has something to do with motivation and what you're motivated to do. Because when you're using the Feynman technique, you're learning for the sake of mastery, compared to if you're just learning to get a good mark. Because then you're not learning to just like,
Yeah.
get a good mark, but you're learning to actually master the content and teach it to someone else. I think it's especially useful if you're teaching it to a child, because because you're forced to explain it in the simplest terms, which can really test if you understand something. Because it's easy to use big words, but if you're like simplifying things and saying like, oh, this is how it works.
Yeah. I remember when I was in varsity, one of our lecturers would be like, study this and go teach your younger siblings. Now imagine you're trying to teach what's happening in psychology
Varsity topic.
to a 10-year-old. Yeah.
No, yeah, it definitely forces that. Asipe, what were you gonna say?
I was going to say that it challenges what you've learned to see if you really understand what you've learned. So, yeah, basically what Luto said. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. That's very true. That's a very good point. All right, the next technique that we have is past papers, and these ones. Oh, sorry, Ngodi. I very much apologize.
You forgot me.
Please
Wow.
explain to us why it is you've given it that 8.5 that you gave it.
I'm more inclined to what Luto said. It exposes where your legs and it exposes your strength. So that's why I gave it an 8.5, because just like someone like Albert Einstein, I think he once said, if you can't explain it easily, then you have not mastered it. So you have to go back and learn it again. So if I go and try to explain it to someone who has also a bit of knowledge, and then I can go through it smoothly, then I know I've mastered that. So I think that's why I gave it an 8.5.
All right. That's a good point. That's a good point. Okay. So like we're saying, the next one is past papers. These ones they've racked up a bit of fame amongst people. People say like, past papers are do or die. Those are the way. That's how you learn. That's how you study. So, what do you guys think? What do you guys rate past papers? Give you a chance to.
5 out of 5.
What?
I mean 5 out of 10.
You didn't even give it a chance. You didn't even write it down on the board. You already knew.
5 out of past paper. Maybe if I'm being nice, 6 out of 10.
Explain.
Because why? I think what happens is because, like, for example, they're changing the schooling system. Right now you're using past papers, and now how they're testing you is completely different. Now those, not that they don't count, but the way they're asking questions now is different to compare how they were asking the previous year. And also school is getting harder and harder as the years go by, right?
Yeah.
So for me personally, maybe because also didn't work for me past papers, I felt like each time I used past papers to study, I was going down, man.
Yeah. I said, but you gave it a 3. A 3.
I've never understood the concept of past papers, to be honest.
Wow.
I've never.
Same.
It doesn't work for me.
Same.
I can't even explain why it doesn't work for me. It just doesn't work for me. Personally.
Okay, Ngodi, what did you give it?
Mine is slightly different this
Probably
time.
going to be very high. Yeah. I knew it. I knew it.
Wait. High school. I give it a 10 out of 10.
Okay.
Varsity,
A 2 out of 10.
a 2 out of 10. So,
Well,
high
there you
school.
have it.
Don't do it. Don't do what I say. But it works.
Yeah.
Trust me, you can pass with just past papers. But varsity, they know how to play you. They will go around your question papers and you will still get, yes, you know, those small 1-digit marks out of 100 in varsity. So
1-digit marks.
I also, I think the thing with question papers, why we struggle with them, for like me personally, is because, you know, you have the memo there, right?
True.
So when you have the answer there already with you,
You're not forcing.
you're not, it's that, so you're like, okay, so you'll do the equation, and then you look back and you got it wrong, right? And then
Yeah.
you see how they did it. I think it's struggling to understand that, okay, but why did I get it wrong? So I think the application of past papers is that because you have the answer there and you think, oh, okay, here's how they do it, then you rewrite it how they did it, and then you tell yourself, then you lie to yourself and say, yeah, I got it, and you actually
Sure.
didn't because the answer is already there.
Yeah. Okay, that's a
That's
fair
my
point.
personal
Ruben,
opinion.
what about you? What did you give it?
I give it a 3.
Our board is
In
a
fact-
3. Oh, is he making it worse? Wow.
I was trying to make it a 2, but
A 2.
how do you turn
How are you going to make it 2 from a 3? There's
is why
no
you
past
need to
paper that can
study.
fix that, hey? There is no past paper that can fix that.
But yes, I'm giving it a 2 because why are you showing me the past, man? Show me the future. Like,
God.
show me what's going to be written in this upcoming paper so that I can study better and I can see if I know this. Why past papers?
A moment of silence for that response. I have no words.
Wait, what do you mean I'm boring? Wait, wouldn't you want to see a paper that you're
But
going
that's
to
not
write?
the point.
That's not the point. The point.
That's not the point.
The point
No,
of
the point
it's to
of-
learn.
Listen.
That's the point. You're in there to learn. If you have a future past paper, the paper you're writing, you're not gonna learn. You're gonna
Yeah, you're
memorize.
gonna
Okay,
memorize.
but tell me, how do you, okay, let's say you have a paper that you have here that you're going to write.
Yes.
You have it. So you look at it and you're not memorizing. You're looking at it and you're trying to answer it based on what you remember. And then when you can't answer it, that's when you're studying now. So now you know how to answer it. So it's a better way of studying. Am I cooking or am I not?
You're not.
You're
I'm cooking, eh?
You're
that's
not.
called being in an exam,
he's cooking.
failing and repeating.
Yeah.
What is the
Simple
point
as
of
that.
what is the point of school? Is to fail
You're
and learn from your failures, right?
Would you feel secure? No. Would you feel secure knowing
Period.
that your future doctors, people who are going to operate on your body, went and saw his past paper and wrote things and got it wrong?
You know, my point is,
Would
if-
you feel secure?
no, I would. But my point is, if I know the question that is coming up, I can study for it better.
But
How
then
do you study for something you don't
that's
know?
what-
Is another
that's why
question.
that's what we're saying.
How,
That's
yeah,
what-
exactly.
That's not what Makona and I are saying.
What
You're
are you
not learning. You're memorizing.
Yes.
No, that's the thing. You take that memorizing mentality out.
How?
And you
When
say,
you know what you're
"Oh,
seeing
no,
tomorrow."
this-
And you study it.
Exactly. Asipa is cooking. Asipa, because look,
You agree with this?
no, I'm saying because how do you study for what you don't know? That's the thing.
No.
That's
the
the
point.
point
That's
of
the point of
learning.
learning. You
Okay.
learn not to, and you don't study just to like get a
also
good
not
mark.
studying
You
to
study
pass.
to master the work, to learn the content, to understand, to be
No.
enriched. You don't learn just
Other
to, like,
people study
this
just
is-
to pass the test.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because you get some people are not academic learners like some of us, you understand?
So you see, I'm saying if you give me a future paper, I can study better because I'm not memorizing. I'm answering, and then after I've answered, I'm
not
like I answer straight from my head from what I remember. Then after I've answered, then I look on my textbook or I look on the internet, and then I see if I answered correctly, and then I correct myself from there because you learn from your failure. While you failed to answer this question correctly, you learn from it
But
from
that's
the
what you
textbook.
technically do with past papers.
Yeah, that's what you do. Probably. So
But in the past paper, will you find the same questions in the
no, but the
Sometimes.
point is so that you learn
Sometimes.
from what could like the kind of thinking you would need to do. So I think a lot of the time with like past papers, it shows you more the thinking that would need to happen for you to get the right answer. So like the question, like how the thought processes you should undergo, what content, the way you should be thinking about specific content.
Yeah.
And in that, when you go in the past paper, you see yourself, you fail the past paper, then you know, oh, okay, then I need to think about it in this way instead of this way, and I need to approach the question this way and not the other way. So that's the whole.
That's why Ngodi rated it differently in high school
Yes,
and
and
varsity.
varsity.
Because in high school, papers tend to be laid out the same,
Yeah.
right? Like how they ask you particular, there'll be like photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? That is what, then you're gonna write photosynthesis is when plants use sunlight to make food, right? Photosynthesis, right? Then varsity will be like, in what processes can photosynthesis be used? So now you're taking it and you have to apply it. Whereas in school, you're just regurgitating what your textbook says.
Yes, she's cooked. I'm afraid she has cooked.
I still
Ruben,
don't agree.
I'm
She
with
has
you,
cooked
man.
You, my brother.
You're
I'm
with
with
me.
you, eh?
How, now
Thank
you're
you.
supporting this. You rated it a 10 out of 10. You're supporting this now. This is okay, guys.
Yeah,
Obviously, we need to go into the next one because
Yeah, let's
there
go
is
to
a
the next
serious
one.
case of hypocrisy happening here. So the next technique that we have to rate.
Listen. Anna, a comment from Anna. She says, "I feel like past papers make people lazy."
Guys,
Yeah, no, the past papers say we don't rate them. We don't rate past papers. I don't rate past papers.
I rate past papers.
But how much did you give it? What rating
Me,
did you give it?
like 5.
You gave it okay.
And I was nice because I thought, but you guys are going low. So I was like, oh, damn. So I could have been honest. I was being nice.
Guys, I think past papers is what is called working smart, not working
Working
hard.
Yeah.
That's,
And that's the
what I
point.
put.
Oh,
And
okay.
I
Now you're
support
cooking.
that.
why
I'm
must
on
you
that.
fight yourself when you're in
it's
your?
not being lazy, it's working smart.
Yeah, but not
Even
the
though
Ruben
working
thing.
smart is
That's
being lazy.
off. That one is
And
off.
then we have Bernice who says past papers have recycled questions. Some of the questions might use different wording, but similar techniques that you need to apply.
Yes.
The more past papers you look at in some subjects, the better.
I agree with that. But obviously for high school, I guess it applies differently to varsity because the way you're being tested is the same way over and over again.
Yeah, and also there's a gray area in that, like I mentioned earlier, why I didn't, because curriculums change every
True.
5 what years.
Very
So
true.
what someone learned, like for example, what people are learning in matric now, they're not gonna learn in
Scary.
matric like 2 years from now. What they're learning, they're probably starting to learn matric stuff in grade 10 already. So that's already
And
just
they are, eh?
it's a school is forever advancing. So when you're doing past papers, you're like, it's so easy. Then you're getting to exam room, and that paper shows you flames.
So past papers is not good. Is that what we're agreeing on?
For me
Okay,
personally.
I'm not
Not-
agreeing with that opinion.
Not that it's not,
Not
good.
me.
We're rating it.
Mm.
Not that it's not good.
Sure.
It helps in certain cases, yes.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. So then now we're going to go on to the next, I guess, topic of, like, the next technique that we have is active recall. So this one takes many forms. There's many different ways to do active recall. Active recall is basically where you force your brain to recall information, either by giving your brain this is a blurting technique. You get a whiteboard or you get like a piece of paper and you have the topic that you want to study and you write down every single thing that you can recall from that topic on the piece of paper to try and see how much of it you remember without any notes. So you're not looking at notes, you're not looking at textbook, you're just writing down what your brain already knows. And then from that piece of paper, whiteboard, you add on the missing pieces, what you didn't do well on, what you didn't really understand, and then from then on you go and revise that information. So that's the technique in a nutshell. So what are we rating that? What are we giving active recall? It's under your bum. Oh, Okay, these are high numbers. This is very high compared to past papers. So please explain why you gave it a 10 out of 10. Asibe, please explain why you gave it a 10 out of 10.
This is my way of studying.
Okay.
So, I don't know. For me, I understand my work better when I try to recall it and I write it down on a piece of paper and I try to memorize what I've studied. So for me, it's a 10 out of 10.
Okay. Luto?
Yeah, it's I feel like it's not, I feel like it's another way of kind of teaching yourself. So that's why I feel like it's an 8 out of 10. So instead of teaching someone, you're teaching yourself, because you're recalling what you remember and trying to bring it back from memory. So for me, I think, yeah.
True. Ngodi, what did you do? What did you give it?
I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
The reason being, I think this is my way of studying, and it has worked for me. I'm one of those people who will try to use this method every single time, and where I've used it, it has worked well. Where I've not, it's not make sure.
So why not use it all the time?
People life. So based on life, you have to adjust and go to past paper sometimes, and
Okay, fair
then
enough.
come back this side.
Yeah, Ruben, what did you give it?
I gave it a 8.
An 8 out of 10?
Yeah.
Why?
Why are you laughing?
No, it's an inside joke.
Oh, take it out.
Okay, but why
I
did
gave it
you?
an 8 because it's good. It's good.
It's
It's
good?
just good.
It's just good.
Yeah, I can't say anything.
This is true.
It's just
No,
good.
I agree with you. It's just good. I gave it a 9 out of 10. So it's
There's
just
more
it's just
colour.
good. It's just make sure. Yeah, so I think that's a very good technique. Obviously, it seems that everybody here agrees with that. The fact that it is a good technique. It's very helpful. It does help you recall, provided you actually go and revise the stuff that you did not get in the, like when you were blurting out all the information. So I think that's a really good and effective technique. I think it helps for very heavy content subjects, because then you have like a lot of information that's coming out of you. So yeah, okay, cool. So next technique, my personal enemy, rote learning. What are you guys rating rote learning?
Describe
Like
it.
you just learn everything off by heart. Like you like kind of thing. There's no good way to explain it.
I
But
feel like rote learning, isn't that low-key cramming?
yes, cramming, essentially.
In tough times, 10 out of 10 if you have a very good memory. In tough times, when you see this person who says they have to study, like, and they're writing tomorrow, and,
Yes.
and you're pushing all-nighters, and you know, like, you're procrastinating and what. So it depends on the scenario. But if you're studying earlier,
So what are you giving it out of 10?
3.
3. Ro was hyping it up, and now she's giving it a 3. What about
Because
you?
it's not a good way to learn.
That's true.
It's because it's cramming.
It's cramming, yeah. And
It's
you're gonna
memorizing,
forget.
learning. It's learning to pass.
Ruben, no, Ruben, no. And you gave it a 10.
On brand.
I'm giving it a 10. The reason why I'm giving it a 10 is because when I study, I'm studying for an exam.
You're not studying to learn.
Yes, I'm studying for an exam. So if I'm cramming everything in one night or like 2 nights before, if I'm stuffing all the information in my head and then during the paper I just unleash, then that's good. So yeah.
Ngani, what about you?
I gave it a 7 out
A
of
7.
10.
Guys, this is ridiculous.
No, it has bailed me out in many situations. So that's why I like it.
Earlier on, depending on the situation, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
As a learning method, it's not the greatest. But if you know, like you procrastinated late nights, it will
This
save
one,
you.
I think this one is more for that girl
Yeah.
who's
Why
7
did you
hours
assume it was a
away
girl?
from an exam.
Why did you assume it's a girl?
Okay, a boy.
Why did you assume it was a
Why
boy?
did you assume it was a girl? Tell us.
Zay. So that's like, yeah.
It's
Exactly
It's
like how
normal to guys though. That's the thing. So
I think that's why I had mentioned earlier, like it's a good for such situations, emergency situations. Like
Cramming is the one.
Cramming, it's to cram, bro.
I think also, okay, with cramming, I think it's the friend you need and not the friend you want. So ideally you want to be proper studying to learn.
Yes.
But when a need situation, in a do or die, you kind of need to cram.
And most of us are in need situations.
God, why are we allowing ourselves to get to the need point of
No.
life? Why don't we
Okay,
not just
question.
prevent the problem from
Question.
the beginning?
Why are we studying?
Ruben, To learn.
Not to pass.
Okay, to learn and to pass.
Okay.
Because to learn and to pass is to test how much you have learned. So to pass is just to show that you've learned. And you want to learn.
To answer Ruben's question, I think it differs depending on your situation. In high school, it's to pass. In varsity, is to, for example, it's to learn for doctors. Imagine now you having a doctor who was just studying just to pass. Now you're going there and they give you the
What
wrong
if that's
medicine.
the actual case?
You
Because
learn on the job.
exactly.
That's how it works.
With my life,
Exactly.
you're going
That's
to
what I'm
learn on the
saying.
job with my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
My life is on the line. You're
My
learning
life is
there.
on the line. I'm
And that's
coming
what
to you.
The heart is failing. Things are happening. You're saying, it was that thing on the
I remember seeing this.
seeing this one.
But
Like a head
look,
and tail thing. If
Okay.
it's a heads.
Am I speaking?
You know what? Each to their own.
To each their own. To each their own. That's the motto and learning of today. Okay, and then another technique that we have. Okay, so this is a little more of a time management technique. So it's called the Pomodoro technique. So essentially, you give yourself. You can search it online. It'll like do it for you. But you can also DIY. Do it yourself. So what it does is basically you have a timer that gives you 25 minutes, for example. So you can set it 25 minutes to 30 minutes, preferably around that time range. And in that time range, you'll be studying like books, whatever method you want to do, books. And then you have a 5-minute break. And in that 5-minute break, you do something active. You wake your brain up. You either you make coffee. You don't go on your phone. That's not the point. You don't go on your phone. You don't go make phone calls. You just go and like chill and vibe and everything. I'm seeing scary numbers, so you guys better fix that before I finish explaining. Anyways, and then after 4 Pomodoros, you'll have like a 15-minute break where you're like, yeah. So please explain those horrendous numbers. I'm a personal fan of Pomodoro technique. Why am I seeing 1 and 0 on those boards? Please explain.
So for me personally, this needs a lot of discipline. This is a technique that I know. I think I remember they said it at school. Like, no, it's the same thing. So study for 45 minutes, give yourself 15-minute break.
Yeah.
Me, I'm a
45 and 15 is a lot. You need like short ones.
Yeah. But even if I did give myself that time period, 25 minutes and what, I wouldn't, guys. I must leave. I've been studying for 25 minutes, right? Then I must give myself a 5-minute break. I'm not giving myself a 5-minute break.
That's real.
I'm gonna give myself an hour break. I'm gonna give myself 30 minutes. So for me personally, that's what I'm saying. It needs discipline.
Yeah, you need to push people with discipline there. That's
Yeah,
true.
I think for me,
fair enough.
it's discipline.
And then
In my opinion, I believe you should study according to what your mind can control or what you can apply yourself to. Do you get?
Danko, you're cooking.
Thank you. That's it.
Oh, that's it? Okay, Ngodi, please rate the technique. But you see?
What's that? A
Dap
12?
me up, brother. Come dap me up. Come dap me up for this one. Come dap me up for this one. Nazo.
No, here's the thing, guys.
He knows where he's at.
I think in terms of, I'm sure a lot of viewers will sort of agree with me, is studying. I've seen a lot of people, especially when I was in varsity, where people will study the whole night. But then now you go and write and then they don't really recall all that they studied. So for me, it's always that thing that give your brain a bit of time to process what it has studied, and then also then you go back. It's a thing of, it does require discipline, but I think overall it does work. Study for 1 hour or 45 minutes, it depends on what time you are comfortable with, then take a break or take an hour, 2-hour break, it's okay. And then go back, continue, because a lot of people, usually when they are under pressure, it's always, okay, I need to study for 10 hours,
10 hours
straight
blocks
and all
all
that.
straight.
But then how much of the information are you going to be able to remember in
retain.
that?
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's why I gave it a 12 out of 10. I think that's the best. Yeah, that's the best way to structure also in terms of how your mind will actually store the information. It stores like a Wi-Fi in packets. So
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with you. 100%. That's a technique I will defend to the grave. That is a technique for the books. You heard it here first guys. Oh, 10 out of 10. Look at that. Me and
gave
Ruben
it a
are in
10.
one accord.
Yeah.
We've both agreed.
No, I'm giving it a 10 because your mind can only take so much.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you like study, let's say 25 minutes, and then you take a 10-minute break, and then you study 25 minutes again, I think you're more likely to retain more information that way. Because I remember in matric, there was a time I did an all-nighter. Like I studied the whole night. I
And
didn't
you've got
sleep.
everything there.
Like it was right before, and then it was a final exam. I don't remember what I was writing, but the final exam, right the night before,
Yeah.
I didn't sleep. So I was studying the whole night, and then in the morning I didn't bath because technically I didn't sleep.
Whoa. I don't know why that was.
That's irrelevant. But
What did you
technically I didn't sleep, so I was just going on with my day. That was me going on with my day.
Okay. Bathless.
But but then as soon as I got into the exam room, everything faded.
You see, voila,
Yes.
the brain, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't let your brain have a chill, a break, it's going to fail on you because your brain needs, like Ngodi was saying, that time to process.
Yes.
And also, like, for one, you need to have those breaks in between to give yourself little moments of process for your brain to, like, okay, this has happened. And then also you need sleep. One thing
Yes.
I'm going to tell you now,
Sleep.
sleep
Very important.
is the best study method because if you don't sleep, yeah, it does. I'm telling
You
you,
need it.
she's laughing. Doesn't believe me.
Yeah.
You need sleep because you in sleep is when your brain is actually storing the information that you've learned to okay, I don't know the scientific terms
It's
for this,
like- it's
but a
like-
different level of like memory. So it's taking it to your long-term memory compared to your short-term memory, and that's what you want. You want it to be remembering long-term so that you can wake up and be like, yes, Newton's first law, and then so like if you don't have your time to like rest to sleep, you won't be able to do anything.
Yeah, sleeping is like backing up your system
Yes.
in your like your brain, like you back up stuff in the computer.
Wonderful.
And then when you sleep, it's like your mind is backing up. It's like backing up what you like, memories. Yeah.
Exactly.
So sleeping is good, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know
sleeping
people who
is
don't
good, eh?
sleep,
Very good.
and they're watching
What are you
this
people
now.
doing?
You're watching this now and
Drinking
you don't
Red
sleep.
Bull. Red Bull will not save you in that exam. It's
First
game.
of all, it's bad for your health. Like you mix, I don't know, BioPlus,
And I
Red
drink
Bull,
it, hey?
whatever you're drinking, so that you don't sleep. It's not good for your health, and you might not remember. So sleeping is good, guys.
two
And s-
reasons to not use it. Sorry, Ngodi, yeah?
And sleep, that you don't oversleep, eh?
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You need that.
I was
Because,
gonna
yeah,
say
there's
that.
been
6
some,
hours is okay.
There's been some horror stories for some of us.
No, wait. No, tell us. Tell them the story. Tell them the story.
Here I am, varsity, and I was about to write thermodynamics 2, and I did not study until the day before. Like you,
All of
7
us.
hours, eh?
All
I
of
feel
us.
you.
Who has not that
So,
lived this life?
I studied the whole night, and here I am. I'm at rest. I studied the whole night, and in the morning, I wake everyone up. I'll go and shower and all that. I go and take a shower, and I remember sitting on my bed laughing at a YouTube video. Then I woke up 2 hours late, and let's just say it's one of those. You will miss an exam.
So glad I've never experienced what you've experienced. I think I was one of those people, guys. If I felt like, I don't know, maybe it's the grace of God, but each time I was writing, I'd always have a dream of being late, or like something happening, and I'd wake up out of shock that, and then like
You'd have a nightmare.
not a nightmare.
You'd have a nightmare.
I wouldn't say it's a nightmare, but it's because I'm worried of like,
Oh.
like don't like you have an exam tomorrow. Don't oversleep. Don't oversleep and what. I don't like. I can't believe
Yeah.
you did what you did.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah, at
really.
We
least
have-
you know.
We have
need
a
people
comment
like
from
you.
Anna Matano who says also very important when you're on your Pomodoro is to take a walk. It helps
Yes.
retain
Yeah.
memory.
You guys are cooking in the
Yeah.
comments.
And I think that I think that also is another thing we can also look at is how to relieve stress during exams. We all have different outlets of. I think. For me personally, discover that while you can in high school. Figure out
Yeah.
how you distress. Figure out how you cope when you're stressed. Figure out what you do to do when you're overwhelmed. So you can be like, okay, this module is freaking me out. If it's baking, it's cooking. If it's taking a walk, like
Do something to
just do something to be able to take you out of that space
Yeah.
to relax and calm yourself.
But don't be like me, eh? One time in order to try and calm down during my Pomodoro break, I went and picked up a barbell and dropped it on my head accidentally. So don't.
Oh, I actually saw that.
Yeah,
in the story.
there was a video of it. So just don't make silly mistakes in your study breaks. That'll jiggy.
Don't go and pick up a bottle of Savannah.
Yeah, true.
If you are studying, why are you drinking Savannah?
Bro,
It helps, eh?
Back to my statement. Each to their own.
The engineers of our future are
Each to their own.
Yeah.
We're not promoting drinking, but each to their own.
Each to their own.
Each to their own.
Each to their own. All right. So now we've obviously done. We've rated our techniques. We've spoken about them. Hopefully you guys have like picked out techniques that you liked. If you didn't hear of something, and you think, wow, that might just work really well. Implement it in your studying in your studying schedule and everything. And we love the comments. We love you guys rating all the techniques. But what do you have?
I think you left one.
You did.
The one of Ruben, of memorizing things based on what you see, which is a hot teacher, eh?
Actually, and two flashcards.
Flashcards. Okay, you know what?
Teacher.
Actually, let's
There's two.
There's two more things that we have to get through. Okay. So the first one, and this is a personal favorite of mine, but obviously depends on the subject. I think this works specifically for humanities, is flashcards. I even have an exemplar from my paper my English studying notes, guys. This is not power in my hands here.
wait, let me see that.
Flashcards. Do you want to see this?
These are all flashcards.
All flashcards.
Oh my goodness.
I know. Some of you want
gonna
stacks
really
of
be
money.
that-
I want stacks of flashcards.
Do you know those small Bibles that? This is
know,
almost
yeah.
the same
Yeah.
size. So you're writing Bible here.
Yeah, I'm writing Bible here, guys.
Mukona is the girl. Mukona is the moment. Per.
Yeah, I have to be on my academic weapon grind, you know what I mean? To get those grades. But what do you guys rate flashcards? What do you think of them? The face. Wow, little.
-1.
-1.
What?
We're going into
Flashcards.
negatives.
I think it depends on the subject. If you have something that's content heavy, it can't help.
True.
So I feel like if you're in the early stages of learning and stuff like that, maybe you're in grade 8 and you're learning the different scientific mixed like stuff like the flasks and stuff. I think it's great. You can have a picture of a flask and be like, what's this? Then you can use that. But the higher you go, flashcards, for me personally, I'm going to be like, you have mini Bibles everywhere.
Yeah, because the flashcards. Okay, I think it's worth noting that these are quotes for literary texts. So you're writing like your comparative essays, your literary essays, and you need to have like the quote. So I write the quote and then a keyword on the other side to remember it. So that I guess it works then.
Yeah, that's what, so it depends on what you're
It depends on what you're studying.
studying.
What do you think, Godi?
Minus.
I'm done.
You see,
Minus
These people
two.
have just managed to
You
disappoint
It
me.
has never worked for me.
It's the people who've gone through varsity. Once you touch that varsity fire, once you get baptized in that fire, you don't look at books the same.
Outrageous. Outrageous.
Just
What do you
letting
think,
you know.
Ruben? What do you rate it?
I'll give it
Look
a 5.
me in the eyes.
I'll
Good.
give it a 5.
He watched himself. He looked me in the eyes and he saw there was.
Hey, I was scared. I was like,
And Asipe, what do you think? What do you rate flashcards?
I don't rate it.
You don't.
I
okay.
don't.
Sure.
I've never understood the concept of
Gonna
flashcards.
show.
Wait, okay, you
Just-
tell us.
I'm taking this to
Just
heart.
yours alone,
I hope you know.
But flashcards. I only used flashcards when I was presenting a speech, to be honest.
Same. Nothing
you.
else. Not for studying. Only speech.
It's like recall. No.
Notes is enough.
Okay, so what? So, okay, basically, so you study, and then you write down stuff on your flashcard, and then when you're done studying, you go in the mirror and you recite.
So
the
no.
flashcard.
So the point. So one side has a keyword. Let me even show you. Why tell when I can show? One side has a keyword. Look very carefully, guys. It has a keyword, and then on the keywords plural for the situation, and then I'm supposed to take that and then remember the entire quote, which on the other side is very long. But this is for quotes. So it's easy to remember because I'm recalling the quote by seeing a few keywords. So now exam time comes, I'm like, okay, I know the keyword, speechless, bam, whole quote. You see?
I don't rate it anymore. I give it a 5.
But
now.
most people use
Anyways.
flashcards for speeches. What happens like if I'm doing a speech? Because
Yes.
in schools now, we're not allowed to write the full speech on.
Yes.
Okay.
It never worked.
You
Never.
Nah, I broke
I'm talking
many
about
rules in
now
high
because I'm
school
still
then.
in high school, guys. Yeah.
Speeches, it never worked for me because I would always have my flashcards. Then the next thing I mix them up and I start presenting the conclusion. So it never works.
No, I think the reason why I'm saying it works in terms of like this situation is the point of like where with speeches you're supposed to have like a key word and then you're supposed to like remember the rest. The same is supposed to be with flashcards, and then you turn it around just to test yourself, like to check that you were correct the whole time.
That
You know
makes
what I
me
mean?
forget.
Wow. Okay. Anyways, and then the last, but definitely not the least, is the method of loci, not the Avenger.
Loki.
Let's see. Look at him getting excited. So what do you rate it?
What is the method of loci?
So the method of
Because
loci. Sorry for not explaining.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So the method of loci is basically where you put down like labels or associate a term, a thing with a visual thing that's in front of you. So for example, if I were to like take a flashcard and put it on this pillow, every time I see the pillow, I need to recall what's on the flashcard or the term. So it's essentially a mnemonic. So yeah, what do you rating it? The
You were not
silence.
listening.
I think so. What it is to associate what you've learned with something, right?
Yes,
So
visually.
visually. So example, you see the color green and you're learning photosynthesis. Then you think of all plants can photosynthesize.
Yeah.
So then you think green, photosynthesis. So now you're learning NS, right? So you go photosynthesis, green, all things do with photosynthesis and what. Then you think blue, then you think the water cycle, what. So then you're associating colors with different things you've learned in that particular
So that way
module.
you remember everything.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I'm giving it a 10.
A 10? 11.
Because listen,
Y'all
I'm
are
giving
lying.
it a 10 because I'm studying. Okay, I'm studying and I'm objectifying. Is it objectifying?
Yes, we'll say yes for lack of a better
For
word.
you.
Yes.
So you're basically objectifying. So let's say you're studying cells, and then you have to name the different cells, like the different parts of the cell.
Yeah.
So in your exam room, you know that the person behind me, he kind of looks like a mitochondria. So let me think of him like that. So that's why I'm giving it a 10, because now you are like. So you guys take me as a joke. I'm being serious.
No, we can't.
Speechless. Even you're right, you know? Like
You are right.
You did cook. You did cook. But I just like
just that you
someone
cooked
looks like a
someone in
mitochondria.
No, it's basically objectifying it. Like my desk looks like the.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know.
that thing.
We get
Yes,
what-
it's
we get
essentially
what you're
that.
saying,
Yes,
we get
yes,
what
yes.
you're
we get
saying.
what
That's
you're
why
saying.
I'm saying it's good, because while you're studying, you can say, "Oh, this pen kind of looks like." I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know.
We get it.
Yeah, okay,
I'm,
okay.
I'm giving it a good rating.
Me, 4.
4. Fair enough.
4. I think for that, because I was a procrastinator in school. You need time. You need to take time out of
Yeah, to
studying
make the
to
mnemonic.
actually associate all these things you're studying with one particular thing. So
and then learn the
and then
association.
learn the association
It's
and
just a bit rote learning
yeah.
for me.
So I feel like it's a lot. So for me, 4.
Yeah, I think it works best for visual learners,
Yeah, I was
realistically speaking.
writing.
Yeah. Ngodi, what did you rate it?
I gave it a 6.
Okay.
The
What did
reason
bro right there?
being, it's one of those mnemonics that I have. So, in simple terms, this is like the first few
Oh, periodic table.
periodic table, and I memorized it by H. Verb CN of Nina Maga Al Sai. With that, I was able
Talking
to
in tongues
sort
to
of
learn.
come up with all these.
Okay.
What do you call them? Elements. Thank you. Yeah. So that's why I gave it a 6. But then I still agree with Luto. It needs time, and
Yes.
you need to take time to plan it. And it's usually content limited. You can
Yeah,
only do it in
100%.
so many. You can only do so much content. You can't do the whole thing. So and it doesn't work for things like maths and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Asipe, what do you think? Just give us. Anit, you said you were busy, agreeing with Ruben. So tell us, what do you? A 16,
I said 11, but
11.
yeah.
That's a lot. That's a big number. I
It's
think.
because I'm a visual learner, so I actually do have time to write out things and objectify it, like Ruben said.
Yeah.
to one color or to one specific image
Sure.
I see in my head to understand it better. Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I think that's a really great way of us like remembering, thinking about these, having these discussions, and I hope you guys have picked up something,
Yeah.
learned a few techniques.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, you guys, for watching. And please note, we have a tutoring group.
Yes.
So that is a fantastic thing, a resource for you guys to learn, and you guys can definitely learn a lot from that. So please make sure to reach out and to become part of the tutoring group if you need help, or if you even want to tutor kids.
If
So
you
yeah.
don't know how to get to the tutoring, I can actually give you a number now that you can contact on WhatsApp and say, hey, I would like to join the tutoring group.
Yep.
So the number is 060-449-8148. 060-449-8148. So it's very great because we have tutoring programs in this ministry. You know, we all learn from each other. And
Yep.
yeah, thank you so much for watching.
Oh.
We
I'm going to get something on
actually-
his board for
yeah.
you guys for you guys to have it there. He's got visual learners. Please pick up now.
Visual learners. Memorize this. It's ifcmlearn@gmail.com. And don't forget the @ It's not a.
Why does it look like that?
Oh,
I don't know how to do
that looks
to
like
write
a
that sign,
Among
eh?
Us character.
And yes, and maybe just to add before we go is, guys, please don't memorize information that is readily available. Don't spend time memorizing formulas that they're going to supply you in
Yes.
exam.
Heavy
So
on that.
that's just an addition to me.
Great. So remember to ask for help and reach out and study well. Good luck with your exams.
Until we see each other again tomorrow, same place, same time. We'll be talking a little bit more
About balance.
About balance. No balance.
Balance.
Yeah, balance. School, studying, work, you know, all that stuff. And we'll maybe also dive a little bit deeper into a better way to study tomorrow. Because today we
In a
listed-
balanced manner, yeah.
we listed studying techniques. So now we can also talk about the psychology of studying
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So stay tuned for tomorrow, same place, same time, 6:30 here on ITVN. And like, comment, and subscribe. And that's
Yeah.
all from us.
We'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm not your boy.